Hi everyone, my name is Carola Binder. I'm an associate professor of economics at Haverford College. And in this short video, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about a measure of consumer inflation uncertainty that I construct. I update this measure regularly and make it publicly available online. So hopefully you can learn a little bit about it. And then if you're interested, you can go learn more or download the data for yourself. You can see here on the screen that I make a consumer inflation uncertainty index for two different horizons. So the green line is the short horizon. That's consumers' uncertainty about inflation 1 year from now. The thicker orange line is the longer horizon, and that's consumers' uncertainty about inflation in 5 to 10 years from now. So let me tell you a little bit about how I make these indices and what we can learn from them. Why do we need to have this index of inflation uncertainty? Well, more recently, surveys like the New York Fed's Survey of Consumer Expectations have been directly soliciting consumers' uncertainty about inflation by asking for density forecasts or probabilistic forecasts of future inflation. But those are only available since around 2013. The Michigan Survey of Consumers is available for a much longer period of time, starting in 1978, but it only includes point forecasts, so you can't directly observe respondents' uncertainty. But it turns out, like you can see in this histogram, that many respondents on the Michigan survey report inflation expectations that are a multiple of 5%. So expectations of 5% or 10% or 15%, you can see those spikes. And there's research in other fields showing that consumers tend to use round numbers as a way of expressing imprecision or high uncertainty. So the details are in the paper, but basically I estimate by maximum likelihood the probability that a respondent has rounded due to high uncertainty. And the index then is the percent of highly uncertain consumers in each given month. So what you can see from this next graph here is that for the years for which both the New York Fed survey and my inflation uncertainty index are both available, they're highly correlated. So this seems to be a pretty good proxy. It seems to be something like what you'd get if you had density forecasts available going back much further in time. A few key results from making these indices. First is that inflation uncertainty tends to rise in recessions, and it also grows in the pandemic. Since the 1990s, consumers are actually less uncertain about long-run inflation than about short-run inflation. So that may be a good sign about inflation expectations anchoring. But short and long-run inflation uncertainty both rose as inflation increased in 2021 and 2022. This rise was greatest for short-run uncertainty. There's also some demographic differences in inflation uncertainty. It's higher for females, for lower income respondents, and for respondents without a college degree. And finally, I also show that when you control for demographics and inflation expectations, higher inflation uncertainty is associated with less favorable spending attitudes reported on the Michigan survey. So if you'd like to learn more or to get the data for yourself, you can go read my paper in the Journal of Monetary Economics from 2017. You can download the updated data on my website, or you can read different policy briefs that I've published more recently using updated versions of the